course, we're from WSU. We're all different types of students. But we're actually, we formed a group called the Humans of Wichita. And are you ever on Facebook? Okay. That's what we heard a lot. It used to be popular. Everybody's kind of...
Before I went to jail, yeah. But since I got out.
You're like, nah, not a big deal. No, you don't need the drama. And I can tell already you're a quiet girl. So we have to get your mouth big somehow. We'll figure this out to pick it up. But, so what the Humans of Wichita is, there's a Facebook page called Humans of New York. And it kind of was an inspiration because it was a guy that went around with a camera that said, New York is more than what you see in the movies kind of thing. And he would interview people, and some show their face or their shoes or something interesting. And you would find all the different cultures, and it was actually really cool. And then you heard some really sad stories and really fun ones, and find out there's these geniuses out there and people that were living on the street and all this stuff. But for us, what we wanted to do was we wanted to shake up some stuff around Wichita, because it is a very Midwestern, chilled out city that doesn't realize what's going on, or they're either just too busy, they're too, I don't know. And I'm not blaming people in Wichita at all, we're not. But the goal is to change some stereotypes about when you're not able to be in your own home, because there's always some cause. It's not deliberate. Usually you're not going to say, you know what, I feel like just, we also want to raise awareness of when people are at risk, or if they're at the point of, is there a place where they can come in and help a little, even if it's just listening, but we want people to pay more attention to other people, just care. Yeah. And I know that, we did do a campaign to go around on purpose. We asked people 5 questions, and they were specific to, we would use the term homeless, see what they would say, what's your impression? So we get certain stereotypical, some people, oh, they're on drugs and they stink and, freaky hair. Then we would kind of switch it around, and then we would turn it around and we would say, have you ever found yourself in a situation where you could no longer stay at your own home? And then it started to get some stuff going. Some people would be like, no, and that's fine. We're glad for them, thank goodness. But there were some people that you could tell they probably, but they weren't saying. Right. And that's fine too. And then there's some people that were like, yeah, let me tell you. So we, and they agreed to share that story, because we are putting together a documentary, and the documentary is going to be not one of those where we're going to sit and see your face all day long, and the lamp and the Noah's Ark and all that stuff. Right. The goal is we want to get to know you. And so as we learn about you, we're going to have stuff coming in to visual and music and things that is your personality. And then they'll hear your voice, but the goal is that you have a chance to tell people by your story that, hey, I live right here, and I'm not in Chicago, I'm not in New York, and I'm no different than your kid or your sister or whatever. It's just, this is what happened. And not even in that format, because people don't always deserve to know what your business is. However, sometimes when we need help, a little leg up, we have to figure out also, how do we ask for it, or how do we hint around, or what can we tell other people to pay attention to. So so all we're going to do, I don't know, here's what I don't know. I don't know a lot about you. Right. I know your name is Karen, and it's spelled with a K, so we're all K's. I know you're in your 30s somewhere. 30s. And I know that you are doing everything in your power to get your kids back. Kid, okay, no plural. You didn't know that, did you? Maybe there's,
Yeah, I wasn't even supposed to be able to have that one, but I thank God for it.
Well, we'll get there. So that's it. There's no planned anything. We're not going to take a ton of your time, but and just so you know what they're doing, he's making sure that this stays on, because we had an interview today that the power button accidentally was. It was like, but we're amateurs. So, but the goal is there's nothing going to be cheesy then when we're done. And we are going to invite you out, and everyone to come out to the school. We're going to have a kind of like a film night at the theater, and you'll be guests and everything. You sit where you want, do what you want, and you can choose to be anonymous, or you can, and in the documentary we're only using first names, okay? And then Debrick's job over here. Have you been introduced already? Sorry, I'm kind of.
Yeah.
We've been here since like 8. His job is to kind of watch the technical part to make sure, and then Annette's kind of our note keeper to help remember some stuff later. Even though it'll be on here, there's going to be a lot to listen and do. But she's also, and we also encourage him to chime in. We have one more team member. He's not here tonight, but you'd really like him. His name's Brian. And so, that said, we're just gonna start. I'm gonna take a drink of water, and then, you have any questions for me? Very cool. First of all, thank you very much. We do appreciate it. And it's really brave.
Kind of volunteered, actually.
Huh?
Kendra kind of volunteered me.
Oh, she did?
She was nervous about doing it, and she said, Karen would be great at it, though. I said, well, if I'm doing it, you're doing it. Because I do have this stereotypical story. She clearly doesn't. I mean, I don't know her whole story. But
Right. Well, and that's where we're going to get. The first thing I want to ask is, where were you born?
Lawton, Oklahoma.
So you're from Oklahoma. Okay.
Well,
You were born
I
in
was
Oklahoma.
born in Oklahoma.
I gotcha. So, what was the circumstances? Mom, dad, just mom? Was there grandma? How did you come into the world?
I was put up for adoption immediately. I was adopted at 3 days old. I have the most amazing family anybody could ever ask for.
And were they from that area, or did you immediately go somewhere else?
My mom and dad are from Pratt.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's where I'm from.
And so were they already expecting you to be theirs, or how did you end up being theirs?
My mom's cousin, Karen, the one I'm named after, knew my biological mother and knew she didn't want me from the get-go. And my adopted mother had a total hysterectomy at 16 and knew she could never have kids. My brother, he's older than me, he was also adopted. And we were both skipped over. I was born addicted to meth. My brother was a fetal alcohol syndrome baby.
Same mom?
Different mom.
Different mom. Okay.
But same hospital.
Okay. Okay. But so what you're saying is, so you and brother both adopted into the same family in Pratt. And so what was mom and dad like? Your mom and dad in Pratt. Did dad
the only
work?
mom and dad I have.
Okay.
My dad overworked himself constantly.
What did he do? What was this?
He started out actually at the age of 16 from scratch breaking horses. He then was a driller in the oil field for 16 years, I believe. And he's a farmer. What was a farmer?
So always gone, always working.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he good provider, you felt like?
Amazing.
Is
he had
he
2 family vacations a year that nobody could ever dream of having. I mean, they were great.
Yeah. So what about mom? What was she like?
Mom stayed home until we were teenagers, and then she worked for the Girl Scout office for over 30 years.
Okay.
So she drove back and forth from Pratt to Wichita every day.
And did these guys stay together through your growing up?
They were married 39 years. My father actually passed away Wednesday.
Really?
Yes.
I'm so sorry. But, so let me ask you this. So mom and dad, they get their dream. They've got these kids coming to them. You're raised out in the nice wide open spaces. My guess is probably even by the time you're in kindergarten, you were helping somewhere with the horses or the farm anywhere? Anything, or did you follow them around to ride on the tractor, or what were you into? By the time you're in kindergarten, what were you doing? Did you have some interests that you started to find out, like you were musical, or you like sports, or art, or science?
Play the piano.
Play the
I
piano?
took piano lessons.
How old were you when you started?
6, I believe.
Really? And who where'd you get lessons from?
A lady in Pratt named Eldana. Great teacher.
Oh, and how long did you take lessons for?
Until I was a sophomore in high school.
Wow. So did you have actual recitals or any competitions?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And my mom actually has a degree in music education and theory from WSU.
Yay.
She played in the Wichita Philharmonic Symphony Orchestra for years and years.
That's
she plays the violin.
Oh, that's wonderful.
She's actually taking lessons. Well, was taking lessons again, but when Dad died, she kind of had to give him up till she gets everything in order. But
yeah. Now, did you ever sing along with your playing?
Yeah.
What kind of music did you play? Or do you
Everything.
Do you still play now if you ever find a piano?
You know what? If I get on my feet, I want to take lessons again.
Okay.
I sure do. I've been missing the piano.
That's awesome. So that's a kind of a sense of comfort right there.
Yeah.
Did you guys, basically like Thanksgiving, Christmas, somebody get on it and start singing or playing around? Or
No. Dad hated classical, and Mom hated country, and Joe and I listened to rap and rock, and
kind of hard to rap on the piano. I mean, you could
You
try.
can try.
You could do a mixer board, but
I don't know. We just never had the same taste in music, and
Yeah.
it was kind of a personal therapeutic thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool. So, how did you and your brother get along when you were kids?
We were best friends.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Really? And so, what was he? What's your brother like?
My brother, he's different now. But when we were younger, he was like the protective best friend, always there, taught me about how life runs.
Yeah.
And then he ended up getting in trouble as teenagers, ended up going to prison. But when he got out of prison, straightened out.
Yep.
And now
Where
he's
his
got a
lesson.
wife and 4 kids.
That's awesome.
And he's also raising my daughter.
Wow. Okay.
My daughter's in the state system, but my brother and his wife are her foster parents.
Okay, so
I
she's
was
in a
so
safe
blessed.
place. That doesn't happen much in this area.
No,
No.
not at all.
So as you're going through school, when you get into, did you stay in Pratt the whole time? Did you grow up there?
Yeah.
Go to middle school, high school, the whole deal?
I went to kindergarten through 12th grade in the same school.
Okay, yeah.
Little farm school.
Yep. Okay, definitely know all about that. So, you know, you're kindergarten, you got seniors being crazy up around the corner.
Yep.
Getting driver's ed and run over you.
Loved it.
So when you got into, so now you're starting to get into middle school where it's horrible to be a girl because you suddenly look like a girl, but you don't want to have to hang out with
I
them.
never wanted to be a girl. That's the problem.
Tomboy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, my brother stayed home with my mom, and I always wanted to go with Dad.
Yeah. Did you play any sports or anything?
I played volleyball, and I ran cross country.
Really? Which did you have a favorite? Any one of them preference? You just wanted to?
No.
Were you very good? Do you think?
No.
You just did it because you wanted.
I did it to get out of the
That's
house.
okay. No, that's cool. Were you guys very far out? Did you live in the? How far from town?
Town was like 13 miles.
Okay, so you
It
always,
wasn't too awful bad, but I mean.
after a while, yeah, you want to get in there, especially when you start having your friends that you want to hang out with.
Yeah, except for I always wanted to be out in the middle of nowhere at barn parties.
Yeah. Yep.
Grew up country kid.
So, what kind of friends did you gravitate for when you're before you started getting into the scene?
Loners.
Really? Did you feel like an underdog pact, or did you feel like you felt sorry for people and you wanted them to know that they were special, or did you think
Both.
you were one of them as well?
Kind of both.
And why did you feel that way when you had this family that was all? Were they a loving family, or was there more stuff going on at home that
well,
you?
no, it was a great family. It's just with the whole adoption thing. I've known since I was little. Sorry, I have a cold.
That's okay.
I never felt like I belonged, but I did belong. I just kind of in my brain
They're just
secluded myself.
Yeah.
Unintentionally.
How did you look very different from your parents? Really?
My mom's Cherokee Indian, my brother's Comanche Indian, and my dad's French. We don't know what I am.
Right. So you're all still kind of European looking though, and you've got this dark mom.
Well, I do look like Dad, and Joe looked like Mom, but it was just, I guess, always in the back of my head, I'm not theirs.
Right. And so, and why did that bother you? Because you didn't want to feel like you were abandoned and left?
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm still working on that.
Are you?
I met my biological mom last summer. She's not a nice person.
Yeah. Wild child and just
mean,
thoughtful,
hateful.
And so when you were done, I'm sure there was lots of tears and disappointment.
Oh yeah, because I always had this fantasy of I'm gonna find my parents and they're gonna say, "Oh, we missed you," and open arms, and it was not even. It was horrific, actually.
Really. So before you met her, we're gonna back up just a little bit because, but as you're getting to be a teenager, as we know, you're daydreaming about this whole experience that you're gonna have.
Oh yeah.
And so in the meantime, you and your loners are hanging out barn parties.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you when you had your first beer?
12.
12 years old. And who gave it to you?
My best friend's dad.
Okay. And why was that? Because he figured he's there to supervise, you might as well try it, or was it just
He was an alcoholic.
Okay. So yeah, he was sharing the love.
Oh yeah.
Did you smoke?
Yeah.
And how old were you when you first started
12.
smoking? So 12. So you're already starting. Did you ever chew?
Yeah.
Did you? How old?
Through high school.
So it didn't gross you out?
Oh no. I would get the pouches and stick them in my lip. They send me to the principal's office. I'd take it out. I'd get there and she'd be like, "No, there's no chew in my mouth. Stick it back."
So you're a true country girl. Wear the cowboy hat and belt buckle?
Used to.
Okay. Boots?
Yeah.
Rippers?
It's the first time I've never owned boots in my life, and it's killing me.
Well, okay, so now you're experimenting, you're junior high kid or whatever, then do you ever start getting into anything more serious? Did you ever try?
I started smoking pot when I was 12.
Okay, so everything's all at the same time. Like
Yeah.
your puberty and your adolescence is starting, bam, right off the bat.
Yeah.
And everybody else is doing it too, so.
Well, no, not everybody.
Not everybody. Was your brother into it?
At that point, yeah.
Okay, so he's already, okay.
Yeah, but if he had found out I was doing it, it wouldn't have been a good show.
Right. So you were able to sneak it for a while.
Oh, a long while.
But small enough town, eventually someone's going to say, I saw your sister, or...
Yeah, and I just deny.
When did your parents find out?
In my 20s.
Oh, wow. So it's after the fact, kind of like, hey, did you guys know?
Oh, they'd been told, they suspected, but,
I just loved you.
It was a pretty good trickster.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. You could probably put on the good girl.
Yeah.
I'm doing great. How were your grades during school?
I passed high school by 0.4%.
Really? And was it just because you didn't care about it?
I didn't care.
Did you feel like did you have any certain thing that you were good at though, and you just didn't try, like math or reading? Computers.
I took spreadsheets and databases. I took sophomore psychology. I took a sophomore in high school. I was taking a sophomore in college psychology classes and acing them.
Wow. So what did you have planned? What did you want to do with your life?
I wanted to be a psychologist.
Really?
Yeah.
And where'd that come from? You know? Read a magazine or see on a
maybe
show?
Because my biological family clearly had issues and gave all 9 of their kids up. So I kind of wanted to figure out, and then I had learned about Helter Skelter, the Charles Manson,
Yep.
and then the BTK thing, and I was always studying why does his brain click that way and why does my brain click this way,
Right.
And that always intrigued me.
Yeah.
It still intrigues me.
I was gonna say there's definitely a future in that kind of
Right.
research and so did you ever get in trouble when you were in high school?
Oh no. I skipped school one time my senior year, and I ended up having to tell on myself.
Right.
Because I got a flat tire and had to call my daddy to save me.
So you were secretly partying. You're trying to play 2 roles. You're trying to play this student to get
The girl
by.
I was raised to be, and
Right,
then
exactly.
the girl I was.
Because you were struggling between 2 people.
I was.
Yeah.
I really
Yep.
was.
Yep. And so where did guys come in the picture? When did a guy come?
12.
12 years old. Man.
And he was like 21, 22.
Really? And how far did that go?
Till my dad found out.
Really? So, is it safe to say that this guy took your virginity?
No, his little brother.
His little brother? And how old were you?
12.
12, okay. But was it something willing?
Yeah,
In terms of,
yeah.
you don't, where you didn't, nobody raped you or?
No, not at that point, no.
Okay. Okay, so we're moving forward and you're, getting ready to get out of school. What were you gonna do anyway? Did you go to college? Did you sign
I
up?
started college 3 times. It just
Really?
kind of wasn't my thing. School's not my deal.
Right. Even though you've got the smarts.
I am super smart. I have a high IQ. I have the ability, just not
But the commitment
initiative.
and to sit and do all the homework
Yeah.
and deadlines and stay up
Right.
all night is not for you.
No.
So it's hard to convert what you've got into something because people want a document to show that you
Yeah.
can do it.
Yeah.
So, so then what did you do? Did you still live at home after you got out of school?
The day I graduated high school, I packed. My parents got me luggage for my graduation present, and I said, "Ooh, hint!" And I packed all my stuff, and I disappeared for months and months.
Where did you go?
30 miles south.
Oh, really?
But
So
they
you were
didn't know
nearby,
where-
but
yeah, they didn't know where I was.
now did you do it because you started getting mad at them, or
No.
did you just want some space to try being
Space.
free?
I thought I was grown up,
Yeah.
and I clearly wasn't.
Yeah. And so where were you staying? Like,
Actually,
or what was the setup? You don't have to say who it is, but
a couple friends of mine and I kind of bamboozled a guy into renting us a house, and it was like $200 a month. And between
Wow.
the 3 of us, we did it.
yeah. Now, were you working? Did you end up getting a job when
We
you were
actually
away?
worked for cash under the table. We crushed cars.
Okay.
Worked in a scrapyard.
Yeah. Okay. So then, did anybody start coming into your life? Was there anybody right then that you were with? Did you fall in love? Do you have a young love story that?
It was a little bit later than that. About a year or 2 after that.
Okay.
And
Were you still living there, or where were you at?
no, my parents made me come back home, and then I ended up moving out with this other guy and was working in the oil field with him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that a whole new world, or you just felt like you're
I
just
grew
like
up in
any
it.
guy, so you can do it?
Yeah, I grew up
Okay.
in it.
So you kind of knew
Yeah.
the business. Okay. And it pays pretty good. Did you travel a lot? You were able to stay in that part of
further
the...
than Dodge or Garden City.
Okay. Was it hard work?
Oh yeah.
So what's a typical day like that?
I was the 5th man, which is kind of uncommon on most rigs. My job was to catch rock samples as they're drilling the hole, and to carry the mud sacks, which is like lubricant, kind of. I carried mud sacks and caught mud samples. It's very untypical to see a female on a rig.
Oh, I can imagine.
And it's very untypical for her to have any job other than the worm.
What's the worm?
The worm is the crap jobs.
Oh,
all the stuff they didn't want to do.
Clean up and all that kind of stuff. So, how many hours a day were you out there doing that?
The shifts were 8 to 12 hours, depending.
So, did you go out at night, drink a beer, and then go to bed, or what was your day like? Okay,
Got into mess pretty bad,
and probably from work.
Yeah,
people started interested.
Yeah,
had you ever tried it before then?
No, I couldn't keep up.
Were you scared of it? Like when someone introduced it to you?
Yeah, they handed me a piece of aluminum foil and a straw. I said, "What is this?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "If you want to keep your job and you want to keep up," he said, "Trust me, you're gonna want that."
Wow. How old were you at that time?
19.
Okay.
19 or 20.
So just fresh out of everything,
and
here you go. And then, so what was your reaction the first time?
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
You got all this energy.
Oh yeah.
I got power.
And I caught up quick.
Yeah. But then when did you start to find out it was starting to be an issue?
Last December.
So that's just fairly new to you. So you didn't, cause staying up for days and your skin changing and the drainage in your throat and all that kind of stuff, that didn't bother you because you're still going. Did you the whole time you were using that, were you still at the same job, or did you?
No.
So you quit, but you still
I
kept
quit.
using.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because by then it had a hold of you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It digs its claws in deep and it steals your soul.
It does. And it's usually small town kids. I mean, I don't think people realize. I'm from Iowa, and people would take anhydrous, and
I was just fixing to say that. My dad's a farmer.
Yep, and that's what they would do. They'd back up, and they knew how to make it and cook it and sell it. And
I learned from some Vietnam vets, so it was real good.
Yeah, and then you suddenly see people that you would never in a million years go, and then you see how skinny they're getting and how, dry out, the whole, and then at first you're like, okay, it's a phase, everybody's partying for a while because nobody's really got kids yet, or they're doing this, and then, a couple people dying, then you got people selling stuff, stealing from their family, checkbooks or credit cards.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
So I just went to jail for I stole my dad's credit card.
So when did you do that?
Last September.
And how'd you get caught?
It was a Chase Visa, which I knew already because I know my parents, that as soon as I swiped it, I went straight to his phone and said, "Did you approve this purchase?" And he ignored it for a while.
But, so he was kind of waiting, but he knew it was you. When did they find out that you were using at all? How did they know something changed in their daughter? More than just the regular party and stuff, like. Was there an incident?
I asked my brother if my daughter could stay the weekend, and I didn't show back up for 2 months.
Well, then let's back up. How does daughter get here? Where's this come in? Let's back up.
Okay, 2007.
Okay, and you were how old?
25.
Okay. Okay, and
I was living in Hutch, and we had that big ice storm, and my gas pipes froze, so I moved home. And I re-enrolled at Pratt Community College, and I was getting straight A's, and I was working for Dad, and then I started working for Pride, and I was doing real good.
Yeah.
Then my grandma died, and my dad had hired a guy to cut the trees out of his shelter belt, and he said, "Hey, go give this check to the tree guy, but don't talk to him, he's a real weirdo."
Okay.
And I took the check, and he asked me a couple questions about Dad, and then he said, "Do you want to go to dinner?" And I was like, "No." And he said, "Do you want to smoke some pot?" And I was like, "Sure." And
there you go. The door opened.
Yeah. And then the next day he was like, "Do you do meth?" And I was like, "Sure." And it was just bad. It was all bad.
But this ended up being the guy that gave you your baby.
Yeah.
Is this right?
But he doesn't know. He knows I had a baby.
So is he just traveling through kind of guy?
Yeah.
So you weren't. How long were you together?
A couple months.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Just partying, hanging out, getting together. And oh my gosh, he's gone, you're pregnant.
He tried to kill me. His best friend, Kenny, actually saved me. Kenny's now my husband.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Save Kenny for a little bit.
Yeah. But Kenny's the only dad my daughter's ever known. He was there when I found out I was pregnant. He was with me through the whole pregnancy.
Does Kenny know your history, everything?
Oh, yeah.
Have you been upfront with him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had your little. When did you have her?
2008, December 23rd.
Aww.
She was my Christmas present.
And so what she look like?
Me.
She does.
Still
But
does.
does she have like light blonde hair as a little girl?
Oh yeah,
or is it
she's got the white blonde hair.
blue eyes too.
Blue eyes that are brighter than mine.
Oh.
The most amazing personality.
Really?
Super intelligent. Before she went to kindergarten, my husband and I had her tested. She tested as a 9-year-old. Sometimes it's killer.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Is she like a sweetheart, or
Oh yeah,
real close
she's the
up,
most loving individual you'll ever meet in your life.
Does she have? Are your parents grandma and grandpa hands on?
Granddad.
Granddad. That's
He is
cool.
Granddad. He was not Grandpa.
So they're pretty happy. They love her.
Yeah. My dad and Lola were like this, but like I said, my dad died not last Wednesday, the Wednesday before.
And how old?
He had just turned 62, and he was planting wheat. And they came home, went out to eat. Mom said he went to the bedroom, and then she saw him coming back through to the kitchen doing this. And she said, I heard a big bang. I thought he tripped on the chair because both his knees were blown out.
Yeah.
And it was him. He face planted, and they said he was probably dead by the time he hit the floor.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
For all of you guys.
Yeah.
All of
Granddad
you
was
guys.
the rock.
Oh, yeah.
For everybody.
I mean, and that's your mom's whole life before you came along. That was her man, you know?
Yeah,
And then
39 years married and 8 years, I believe 8 years before that.
Man. So, did you guys have any kind of, while you're growing up, were you guys faith-based people? Did you go to church or no?
We went to church with Grandma and Grandpa, my Grandma and Grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
But my fondest memory is sitting on the floor in front of the pew eating Cheerios and coloring.
That's common in church.
And I knew Psalm 23, and that was about all I knew about the Bible.
Yeah. So when you had your daughter, where were you living? Were you at home?
In Pratt. I had my own house.
Okay,
At
but
that
you're close
point.
enough if you needed help with
I
your
worked for
parents.
Dad.
Okay, so you had some income, you had your own place,
Yeah.
and so she's safe and warm and all
Right.
that. Now, did you, were you using when you were pregnant?
I was using until I found out I was pregnant.
Okay.
And the day I found out I was pregnant, I quit using, I quit smoking cigarettes, I quit drinking.
You were
It was
totally
just cold
committed
turkey,
to
I
this
was
job.
done, yeah.
Okay. But you
But I
deliberately
didn't-
didn't want this guy to know?
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause you're like, that wasn't your plan.
I didn't find out I was pregnant until I was 5 months pregnant, though.
How come? What was different?
Every pregnancy tested negative. I was super sick. I mean, constantly. I lost like 30 pounds because I couldn't keep anything down. They took my gallbladder out. I was still super sick. And come to find out there's a baby in there.
Wow.
Not much time to prepare.
Not really, no. But so when you heard you're pregnant, what went through your mind? Were you excited, or like bummed out, like, oh, I'm not ready for this?
I was like, there goes my life.
Yeah, because you're young.
Yeah.
You know? Well, but then she's born, and then you see her, and then
Get that thing away from me.
really, do you have postpartum?
Get that screaming thing away from me.
Yeah.
This was in the hospital, and I screamed at the nurse, and she's like, "This is your baby." I said, "I don't have kids." You know, and it took a while. They had my morphine messed up, but it took me a while to realize she was mine, and I fell in love with her. Don't get me wrong.
No, there's no judgment.
She ruined everything.
Right. Her presence.
Yeah.
And she'll know over time that it's not her, but her appearance in the scene.
It's not that way at all anymore.
Yeah.
Once, she about drowned in a swimming pool when she was 2. We were on vacation in Oklahoma City, and that's when it clicked. I can't live without this thing. Yeah, it's just like all of a sudden it all hit me, and
thank goodness.
Oh,
Some people don't get that far.
But it might have a little bit disappeared my addiction.
Yeah.
Because I was under my train of thought was she's with my brother.
Yeah.
She's fine.
So how did she end up with your brother? How old was she when she got there?
5.
So
4.
But you were using after she was born.
Well, I was clean for about 4 months.
And why did you feel the need to do it again?
I started smoking pot again, which I didn't find to be a big deal. Clearly it was, but we were actually doing nothing but smoking pot, and then we moved to South Carolina.
And who's we?
My husband and I.
Okay, so
we got married when our daughter was 9 months old.
Okay, so let me ask you this,
Yes.
backing up again.
Okay.
So where's he getting the picture? How do you meet him, and how's he become part of your life?
He was Danny, the tree cutter guy, his best friend. And he kept
okay.
telling me, "You got to meet Kenny. He's just the most amazing person." Well, Kenny was supposed to come over and have dinner with us, and when he walked in the door, Danny had me by the throat up off the floor, choking me, and that went all bad. I'm